If you're a true Liverpool fan, subscribe to Anfield Signal. Arne Slot provides fresh Alexander Isak injury update as call imminent on Liverpool star. Arne Slot has given a fresh update on the condition of £125 million striker Alexander Isak as his recovery from a broken leg continues. To say this wasn't what Alexander Isak was expecting when he completed his £125 million move to Liverpool would be the understatement of the season. In a term that's often been blighted by misfortune at Anfield, few have fallen on harder times than the most expensive footballer in British football history. Having agitated to a level that's rarely seen in the modern game to secure his dream transfer from Newcastle United to the Premier League champions, there was an acceptance inside his new club that Isak would take time to get back to the sort of levels expected of a striker who was only outscored by Mohamed Salah in the previous campaign, having not played for his old club all summer. The Sweden international established himself as one of the finest frontmen in the English game during his time on Tyneside, plundering 54 goals in his 3 seasons, 44 of which came in the last 2. A specially designed training regime was hatched in an effort to get him as close to 100% as possible, having not had a preseason before his September 1st arrival on Merseyside. But an immediate international break muddied the waters for the Reds, with their new number 9 subsequently going into the care of the Swedish national team. The club remained in close contact with Sweden physio Ben Rosen, but a groin injury the following month in the 5-1 win over Eintracht Frankfurt further restricted progress before what has perhaps become a sliding doors moment of his and Liverpool's season, the leg break suffered while scoring in December's 2-1 win at Tottenham Hotspur. Isak hasn't played since and is not expected back for the Reds until the beginning of next month, and amid questions over whether he could be called up by his country this month, Arne Slot, speaking on Friday, admitted expectations should be tempered regarding the forwards immediately returning to the level that made him a £125 million player. If you ask me now, I would say I don't expect Isak to go on duty with Sweden, the head coach says. But we are still 1.5 weeks off. There is always cooperation between club and country, but I don't expect him to play for us before that. Again, I have to mess up the party again. Let's say he comes back at the beginning of April. He has been out for 3.5 months and not trained with the team for 3.5 months. The last time he did that, it took him a while to get up to speed. I am really looking forward to having him back, but don't get the expectations again so high that the minute he is on the pitch, he's at the level of what we spent that money on. If the absence of such a gifted striker wasn't enough for an under-fire boss like Slot to deal with, it has led to an over-reliance on Hugo Ekitike, the only recognized senior center forward in the ranks. Liverpool had been working on the France international's fitness and his ability to consistently sustain his true level across 90 minutes in a competition as demanding and physically intense as the Premier League, but the lack of a serious alternative has hurt results, undoubtedly. Slot says, "I don't think it's been helpful for the team that many times we have felt we are there. Another player got injured, another player got injured. We constantly felt we had to do it with 12, 13 players. It is always a boost for a team to have everyone available. Look at the recent PSG game against Chelsea, when Ivica Kvaratskhelia came in 30 or so minutes from the end and scored twice. I think Pep Guardiola said as well how important it is to have your players available, because this is such a hard league. We don't have a winter break and there are so many games. I don't think there are many clubs in the history of this league who have had a lot of injuries and performed as expected. That is harder in this league than any other league in the world, as you have so many games at a high level. All the examples are there. Manchester City last season. Liverpool were made to wait for Alexander Isak. In so many ways, that wait goes on. The light at the end of the tunnel might be in sight for Isak, but the Reds will likely only truly have a £125 million striker on their hands once next season gets underway."
Liverpool owners' net worth soars by £225 million as new billionaires list published. Liverpool are one of the richest clubs in world football, and their owners also have considerable personal wealth. Like many Premier League sides, Liverpool's proprietors boast the kind of wealth that secures them places on yearly rich lists. That's only part of the story too, with 2 members of the Reds ownership group adding a combined £225 million to their net worth during the past 12 months. The club has been under Fenway Sports Group's stewardship since 2010, with the American organisation presiding over 2 Premier League titles and a Champions League success in the decade and a half since they assumed control. High-profile minority stakeholders have also joined during that time frame, most prominently NBA icon LeBron James. The yearly Forbes billionaires list provides a snapshot of the world's wealthiest people. Invariably, the list features numerous names familiar to those in the football world, including 3 with Liverpool connections. This year, the club are represented by FSG's John W. Henry and Tom Werner, alongside minority stakeholder James. Henry's fortune has risen £200 million to $5.7 billion or £4.2 billion. James's has increased £100 million to $1.4 billion or £1 billion, while Werner's figure has remained unchanged at $2 billion or £1.5 billion. That amounts to not far short of £7 billion collectively amongst the trio. James has earned upwards of $500 million in pre-tax salary from stints with the NBA's Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, and his current team, the Los Angeles Lakers, Forbes' profile of the 41-year-old athlete states. He has also raked in more than $1 billion pre-tax off the court, according to Forbes' estimates, from his business ventures and endorsement deals with the likes of PepsiCo, Nike, and Beats by Dre. Last May, Liverpool were valued at an enormous £4.2 billion. The owners were closing in on 15 years of ownership at the time, and they released a statement marking that milestone later in the year. Liverpool Football Club means so much to so many people, and that's something we've always been conscious of, part of the extensive statement read. This club is part of the fabric of the city and far beyond it. It connects generations and communities in a way that is truly special. Being part of that story is a privilege, and it brings a responsibility we never take for granted. Today is a day to look back with gratitude, but it's also a reminder that our work isn't done. There's still so much more ahead of us, more to achieve, more to win, and more memories to make together. And to you, our supporters, on behalf of everyone at Fenway Sports Group, thank you. Thank you for welcoming us, for believing in this team through every high and low, for telling us when we've fallen short, and for showing the world what it truly means to be part of Liverpool Football Club. You'll never walk alone.
Liverpool get huge Julian Alvarez boost. Forward will cost £130 million. Last summer, Liverpool freshened up their attack with two new strikers, Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak. Ekitike came on board from Eintracht Frankfurt for £69 million, while Isak cost almost double that, £125 million from Newcastle. While Ekitike, 23, has done well in his first season, scoring 11 times in the Premier League up to now, Isak remains on his sidelines with a broken leg. We could see Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes attempt to recruit another striker in summer in order to improve fortunes in front of goal. Wing looks like the immediate priority for the Premier League champions, but a deal for longtime target Julian Alvarez would be too good to turn down. Julian Alvarez, situation summary. Liverpool's interest in Julian Alvarez stretches back to his River Plate days, when he was regularly flagged in local and fan media as a forward the club should be looking at, even if there was no concrete move before Manchester City stepped in during January 2022. Once at City, he stayed on Liverpool's radar, with 2024 reports that the Reds explored a possible swap involving Luis Diaz, as City weighed up Alvarez's future role. The most tangible phase came in 2024-25, when Liverpool's need for a number 9 led to direct contact with Alvarez's camp in City, something his agent Fernando Hidalgo and subsequent reporting around Richard Hughes' travel to Spain both corroborate. Liverpool ultimately lost out when Alvarez chose Atletico Madrid in an $80 million+ deal, but they did not drop the idea entirely. Since his explosion under Diego Simeone, Alvarez has again been name-checked as a player of interest, with Hidalgo confirming Liverpool's approach last summer, and Anfield-focused outlets framing him as a live option if circumstances at Atletico change. Atletico will sell Alvarez to PL clubs. Spanish outlet Sport is claiming that Atletico have resolved to not sell Alvarez to Barcelona. The capital club are unhappy over Barcelona's conduct and will only consider offers from the Premier League for their number 19. Owing to Atletico's valuation, close to €150 million, £130 million, no other European teams are easily able to afford the asking price, and that puts Liverpool in a select band of clubs in the queue for the FIFA World Cup winner's signature. Atletico has decided not to sell Julian Alvarez to Barcelona, although they might explore a transfer to the Premier League if the fee significantly exceeds €100 million, the report reads. Atletico would only consider selling him if an offer close to €150 million arrives, and that offer can only come from the Premier League. It's unclear right now how Alvarez could be accommodated in the lineup. That should be for Arne Slot to work out next season, however, as Liverpool get a big boost in their chase for a much-coveted striking target.